Ed, shall I read this? The Children of Gods and Fighting Men. Okay, let me tell you something. There's a new Cersei in town, and she's Irish. Readers, reviewers, Children of Fighting Men, lend us your ears. Or your gods. Welcome today to the Brothers Gwynne channel. Today we're going to be reviewing one of our most anticipated books by Shauna Lawless. This is called The Children of Gods and Fighting Men. What a great title. What a great cover. This is published by Head of Zeus, and so this is historical fantasy. We love that genre. She who became the sun. I loved Catherine Arden's The Winter Night trilogy, and this is Irish mythology. I mean, can it get much better? So yes, we were both very excited. We were very excited about this, and then Shauna very kindly sent us an ARC hardback, and so yes, thank you very much. In return for an honest review from the two of us. So yeah, that is what we're doing today, giving you an honest review. And I guess you can tell through how excited we sound, we enjoyed it. Bit of a spoiler there. Yeah. But first, before we dive into our thoughts, before we submerge ourselves in our thoughts, let us talk about the premise. Ed, do you want to give us a little... This is 10th century Ireland, a time when the Vikings, aka the Danes and the Norse people, were landing in Ireland and they were taking it over a little bit. You know, this is after the period of Alfred the Great. If you've read any Bernard Cornwell, the Saxon stories, then you know that there is a little bit of Irish Viking Age action, which is awesome. But this has a mythological twist. The mythology coming from the Irish folklore as well, the Celtic mythology, which is all about the Tuatha De Danann and the Fomorians. Very nice. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm correct, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm sure Dr. Philip Chase will pop his thoughts in the comments. We hope to see him there. By the way, we think you'll love it, Philip Chase. Absolutely, yeah. This is what I love about this book. Is it's a merging of two different mythologies. Mm-hmm. It's got Norse mythology as well as Irish mythology, Celtic mythology, and it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, you know, it is set in 980. It starts in 981 AD, so it's like it's historical fiction, but there is magic sprinkled throughout, like fairy dust. As I was going to say, this is two leading female characters operating in 10th century Ireland, and we have historical events mixed with political intrigue, similar to The Counselor, which we loved, and then that is mixed with the Irish mythology, and as I said, a lovely sprinkling of fantastical elements that really add extra life to the story. Yeah, Shauna Lawless is undoubtedly the new Madeline Miller, but in my opinion, with an even stronger voice and an even stronger premise as well, which is just so exciting. You know, I'm a sucker for historical fiction, but I'm a sucker for fantasy as well, and put them both together is just right up my street. What I love about The Children of Gods and Fighting Men is the two main characters. They are the two POVs are females, and they are so different to each other. Shauna Lawless has a way of creating these characters, which is amazing. When I said one of the characters, Gormla, is Cersei, but Irish, honestly, she's amazing. She's very dark, but I love reading about her. Honestly, her machinations are intense. Yeah. She is she will do anything for her son. It's like Orca, really, but if Orca was a bit of a schemer. She's very Machiavellian. She is very Machiavellian, which I absolutely love. And then Fola is a bit more kind of she's very likable, she's very kind, she's very sweet for the most part, isn't she? Yes. And what happens to her, she's a bit more passive, but I really enjoy that. Whereas Gormla will she takes her own future and her children's future in her own hands. So yes, they are both members of these mythological groups. One is of the Tuatha De Danann. Again, sorry about my pronunciations. And the other is a member of the Fomorians. And they it's a little bit like the Aesir and the Vanir, these kind of two tribes in mythology that are at war with each other. So it comes into play a little bit, doesn't it? It does. Well, it's always the tension in the background that they are rivals, and the Tuatha De Danann believe that they have killed off all the Fomorians, but they haven't. So the Fomorians are trying to buy their time to get a stronger seat in power. So we have one character who her whole motivation is to keep her son alive and help him rise to power. And at first, you're thinking that she's going to be the good character. Yeah. well, she's not a bad character. There aren't really good characters or bad characters. It's just a whole mix of in the middle. Most people are just trying to survive, and I love how Shauna Lawless really creates that immersive, engaging story, especially with the vivid
Politics
world.
have never been so exciting.
I was going to say, like we said in our review of The Councillor, the first review we did on the channel, that I absolutely adore the political intrigue, very different from stuff I'd read before. Children of Gods and Fighting Men is very similar. There is little action. There are a few scenes which are just done exceptionally well, while there is action both small and larger scale, but more of it is the political intrigue and the threat of action, and we see how the consequences really build up throughout this, and it is just done exceptionally well. It's really hard to have political intrigue engage you the whole way through, but Shauna Lawless does it in such a way where she just has you engaged the whole time. I felt really invested in these characters' journeys. Whether I thought they were right or wrong, I just wanted to be with them and see what was going on in their minds and see the events unfold. And yeah, it's quite philosophical as well, because these Fomorians and Tuatha, they're not immortal, but they live a lot longer than mortal people. They're a bit like imagine Strider, but they live a bit longer than that, and so some of them think that the mortals are just terrible people who don't really deserve any attention. And it's interesting how those opinions are both justified, but also you see how they're wrong at the same time.
So this is a duology, so if you want to see book 2, go and get book 1. When you look in the front of the book, there's a beautiful map of Ireland. There is also a pronunciation guide and all of the characters. When you look at the character list, there are a lot of characters, but fear not, Shauna Lawless interweaves them all perfectly, where you never feel overwhelmed whatsoever. It's only 2 POV, but you do meet a lot of side characters, which are all very distinct as well. And, you know, the tribes of Ireland against the Viking Age peoples is fascinating to watch it unfold, and it is so much fun. But I really enjoyed this book so much. We would love to have Shauna Lawless on the channel to interview her, to ask lots of questions about how she came up with this book, and the acknowledgements are great, as well as the reading list at the end, which I'm definitely going to be picking up a few books there to find out more about this time period and this specific place.
Yes, so to really wrap up, it is 5 stars from both of us. I absolutely adored the story, but Shauna Lawless does it in such a way that the prose is fantastic. She really weaves all these elements together that really came to what I expected this to be a great read, and it really delivered above and beyond. And if you want a signed copy of The Children of Gods and Fighting Men, I believe the Broken Binding still have copies available, so I will link that in the description below. And not to be insulting, but I think you'd be quite silly to miss out on that opportunity.
Oh, that's a bit passive aggressive.
It just speaks to how much I loved this, so you should definitely read The Children of Gods and Fighting Men.
And if you don't buy a copy, then Gormla will come after you.
And also, I think, so we're aiming for this to come out on the 2nd of September. We're recording this on the 1st, the day it was released. So yes, jump on that wagon so you can talk to everyone else about it. As everyone's raving about it at the same time. Jump on that long ship to Ireland. But thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. We've really enjoyed talking about it. And thank you to Shauna Lawless for sending us an early arc. We loved it.
Truth and Courage, the Brothers Gwynne.
The Brothers Gwynne.